losing the fight against pollution.
This is not a story of just children. This is the story of every elderly person in the National Capital Region.
Delhi's hazardous air quality.
It's more capital of the world.
Delhi pollution has left us sick and exposed, also frankly embarrassed.
Hazardous air quality are disrupting daily life.
Growing the issue of a toxic air looming large over Delhi.
Delhi's air quality index has been hovering between 300 and 400 for the past week.
The culprit was the same PM 2.5, the main pollutant which is emitted from heavy industries, power plants, vehicles, crop burning and coal-based heating.
The overall air quality of the city continues to remain in the very poor category.
We look at how Delhi is once again struggling with rain.
It's not just about today, it's about the future.
When Trump captures Maduro, News 9 breaks it first.
It's happening far away, but it has tremendous consequence for the world.
What happens next?
Biggest international headline of the hour.
The US has conducted military strikes.
This is the Venezuelan president.
Maduro faces multiple charges, including narco-terrorism.
This is Maduro being taken to the New York court.
Donald Trump indicated that Greenland might be next.
Where will Donald Trump stop?
A dramatic U.S. operation, power shifts in Venezuela. High-stakes geopolitics unfolding. What does this mean for Venezuela? What does it mean for the world? And what comes next? On point with the facts, unmissable insights. In your interest always. Fastest alerts, hard facts, 360-degree analysis. From breaking news to deep dives, when the world changes, News 9 leads. News 9, always on top.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9, English news as it should be.
Welcome to News 9. You are watching On Point and I am Kartikesh Sharma. In the first On Point, we talk about how merely 24 hours after swearing in of the new Manipur government, Kuki groups have called for social boycott of own MLAs joining the government. In the second On Point, we expose how Bangladesh's foreign policy is getting defined by the upcoming elections as Jamaat cozies up to India, but New Delhi is not falling for the rhetoric. In the third On Point, we talk about the future of Europe, NATO and global nuclear arms race as the New START treaty ends today. And now let's take a quick look at the headlines. Prime Minister Modi tears into opposition in Rajya Sabha. Opposition walks out after creating din. India responds to US claims about halting Russian oil imports. MEA emphasizes that securing energy for 1.4 billion Indians is the government's top priority. India calls Venezuela a key partner in energy trade and investment, adds oil imports depend on commercial viability. Within 24 hours of the new government formation in Manipur, several Kuki groups have issued a strong warning to legislators from their community, asking them not to participate in the formation of the new state government, even as protest and shutdown calls spread across Kuki-dominated areas. The warning comes just a day after Yumnan Khemchand Singh was sworn in as the 13th Chief Minister of Manipur. Two leaders, Nemcha Kipgen and BJP MLA from the Kuki community and L. Dikho of the Naga People's Front took oath as Deputy Chief Ministers, a move that has triggered a sharp backlash from the Kuki civil society and militant groups. Reacting to the developments, the Joint Forum of Seven, a tribal organization based in Churachandpur, has called for a total shutdown across Kuki-Zo dominated areas from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Friday. The group has urged community members to participate in protest across villages in a democratic manner while reiterating its long-standing demand for a separate Kuki administration. In a strong statement, the Kuki-Zo Council said any MLA from the community who chooses to disregard the collective decision and join the government would be doing so in their individual capacity. The council warned that it would not be responsible for the consequence arising from what it seems unilateral decisions taken by community legislators. Adding to the tension, Kuki militant groups have also reportedly issued warnings to MLAs, cautioning them against participating in government formation under the current political arrangement. Late Wednesday night, protesters burned tires and blocked roads with bamboo poles near Lemkhong in Kuki-dominated Kangkokki district, protesting the swearing-in of Nemcha Kipgen as the DCM. The unrest has also spilled beyond Manipur. Kuki-Zo civil society group staged protest outside Manipur Bhavan in New Delhi, where Nemcha Kipgen took her oath virtually.
With that PR, they had nothing to do with the Manipur crisis. We didn't feel safe, and we had nothing. The Indian army did nothing to do for this. They did not make us safe, in short. That's all. And lifting PR and coming back this popular government, we feel a little relief. That is one step ahead, peace.
In the studio, I am joined by Brijesh Pandey, input editor of News 9. And I am also joined by Dr. Thongolal Haukip, Assistant Professor, Center for the Study of Law and Governance. Very good to see you, Dr. Haukip. I'll also be joined by T. Michael Lamjathang Haukip and subsequently Professor Prasanajit Biswas. I'll go to Dr. Haukip first. Dr. Haukip, why are these Kuki organizations protesting? Isn't it okay to have a government so that, the people's government rather than a governor's rule? Dr. Haukip?
Karthikeya, we have been discussing about Manipur issue for the last almost 3 years. And we know very well that the separation between the Kukis and Meiteis had happened so deeply that buffer zones are created. And since the first month of the conflict, the Kuki MLAs had declared that they wanted separate administration because the state government, which should be an impartial government among the communities of the state, had been acting on the behalf of one community. So that was the main reason why the MLAs were talking about separation from the dominant community. And that's the guiding principle so far. And there were many group dynamics among different groups within the Kuki-Zo communities. And within the MLAs also, there are certain agreements that without certain conditions, they are not going to join the popular government. And that, group agreement was perhaps been broken by the 3 MLAs who had joined the government. So the community as a whole is upset about how collective decisions of the Kuki-Zo MLAs were broken by certain MLAs who preferred power rather than the collective decisions of the community. I don't know, some may disagree that there's no collective decisions, but so far the majority of the MLAs feel that unless the community supports some of the conditions for joining the government, then they will not join. So that's the main reason why many people, particularly the Kuki students organizations, the Kuki-Zo councils, were unhappy about the MLAs who joined the government, and they also declared boycott to these MLAs currently.
Okay. I'm also joined by Michael Lamjathang Haukip. Before I get into what is right or wrong, Lamjathang, I want your opinion as to what is happening. Why is Bandh called? Why are they protesting against government formation?
Kartike, Bandh shutdown protest is called by the angry mobs, I should say, the Kuki group, because of their disunity. So right from the beginning, there is no cohesiveness, there is no, unified apex body among the so-called Kukis. So today, if you ask Pu Elam Khaute or Pu Musanglur, they will say they are never Kuki. So, but the other 7 MLAs, but unfortunately, their unity has been broken by Mrs. Nemcha. But that is bound to happen because they are still, if they are united.
She's an independent MLA, she can take her own decision.
Yeah, they should have resigned en masse. They have not resigned, they have met several times, and then one of their colleagues, by virtue of their constitutional obligation, when they are a part of the government, yes, those who have not resigned, like Paulinal or Lejamang, are also equally a part of the government. So they should not have done this. Yes, they have protests, that's fine, but they should not be a kind of violent protest right now, which is going on in Churachandpur. So Churachandpur, basically like Zomi area and the Mar areas are peaceful and calm. And in the Kampopi district also, they are peaceful and calm. So obviously, in their area of dominance, in their constituency, like Mrs. Nemcha or Mr. Khaute and Mr. Sanate would have definitely consulted their constituency or their constituent people. That's why they have that guts to come up this level. So I think this is purely because of the disunity or the pseudo-unity that has been coming on all this while. But one thing what I would like to tell to the 3 MLAs is that they should be sincere and honest, that they should communicate properly with the central government and with the Manipur government and with the Meitei community. So they should bridge the gap between the two communities, all the communities. This is what I want to relay and I want to share at this point in time.
Okay. Your opening comments, Brijesh.
Karthike, we were discussing this yesterday. It was a good move forward.
And second thing, I don't know why one of the deputy CMs took oath from Manipur Bhavan.
Yeah, I think it was a good move forward in the sense that after a shrill rhetoric which we have seen for a very long time when N. Biren Singh was the chief minister, and a majority of the time when discussions were done, many had problem with the functioning of N. Biren Singh, and after that President rule was imposed and the new government was formed, which was like, kind of inclusive government in the sense that you have one MLA from the Kuki community, one from the Naga community as deputy chief ministers, and the person who is Mr. Khemchand, who is the chief minister, is also a mild version. It's not like he's very, aggressive and shrill and rhetoric. The fact is that, yes, the first, crack in the government's attempt to reach a cohesive solution was witnessed yesterday only. When the Kuki MLA took oath from Manipur Bhavan and not was present at the governor's house where the entire Lok Bhavan, where the swearing in ceremony was going on. It was a clear indication that yes, she has taken the decision. Yes, there are a couple of more people MLAs with her, but it is not going to be all right if she shares the dais, if she shares the same room as the other Meitei MLAs. We have seen it several times, when there were certain attempts to feed that Kuki MLAs and Meitei MLAs have met the Home Ministry. But later on when you wait for the fine prints to come out, the meetings were separate meetings. It was not like they all mingled and met at once. And the statement of JF7 is a very, very clear reminder of what is to come. Barring then saying that that you will be killed or maimed, the wording is very, very clear that if anything happens to them, they will be responsible for the consequence, which is the operative word. If anything happens to them, so it's very clear that that divide is not going to be bridged with this kind of cosmetic measures.
Okay, I'm also joined by Professor Prasanajit Biswas. Your opening statement, it's a tad disappointing that a bandh has been called in Manipur tomorrow. I thought people will be happy with this attempt. Professor?
No, I think consensus building requires a little more wisdom. It was well known to every party that the Kuki civil society has put forth a clear demand that their political demands have to be discussed, and this has to be addressed properly in the right way, especially the demand for UT under Article 239 and certain other demands connected to that related to 6th schedule, autonomy, the question of securing the rights of Kuki-Zo people, which was repeatedly raised by civil society groups and the people and public in general. Now, within the people, certain forces wanted to create division in the name of ethnic identity by separating Thado from Sairim, by separating Zomi from Jo, and by calling different kind of divisions within the Kuki-Zo Mar spectrum. Now, this has resulted into a kind of a massive division within, and it has found its manifestation in the form of a protest which was spontaneous, because Kuki MLAs were told in no uncertain terms by their people that unless the political demands are accepted by the ruling party, which is BJP, they should not be joining the government. Now, I don't know what kind of negotiations after that happened, that suddenly a government has been formed. It was called a popular government. Now it turns out to be a government of a lot of dissenters. A lot of people are objecting to certain MLAs joining that government, and therefore it has created another kind of a mess, and it will soon return to, hopefully not, that the bloody background and the misuse and abuse of power that has happened in the last regime. Whether all those ghosts and the skeletons in the cupboard are still churning out or not is what we need to observe very carefully. And therefore, I think President's rule was a safe option. I don't see any reason why that was removed.
But Professor, President rule should be the last option. When a party has number, it has the right to exercise that mandate that it has received, and the mandate is received in elections.
The technical issue, the 6 months.
What is the technical issue?
One technical issue is that the 6 month time lag of calling an assembly session actually expired. And after that, you don't know the status of this assembly. The current assembly actually expired because for 6 months no session was called.
Okay.
And this is a technical issue on which experts have opined that currently this government does not have a constitutional basis.
I kind of disagree with you. No, I kind of disagree with you.
You can, but this is an opinion that is available, and that opinion is actually a very powerful opinion.
Okay, Dr. Haukip, don't you think that, it's time that, certain positions are taking which are amenable for a government to function? If you can't keep a state perpetually under the president's rule because a certain issue is not being addressed.
I'm not against this popular government or the formation of government.
And let me just, sir, rephrase the question for you. The Kuki organization can continue to press for the demand because, to deprive people of a government is also incorrect. I mean, you can continue to press for that demand, but to say no government is also denial of that democratic mandate, sir.
Kartikeya, I agree with you, but this is the kind of tactics that has been, taken so that the demand, which has not been accommodated for the last 40 years since the state came into being in 1971 or 73. So if you look into the history of this state, there has been demand for certain political concessions within the state, and the demand keeps on going while you can see that in the valley areas, some of the demands have been made by the central government, while little concessions, political concessions like the extension of 6th schedule in the hill areas has been totally denied to the tribals of this state, and there has been consistently demanded, and the Manipur state government consistently denied this extension in the hill areas. This is one of the crux of the problem for the last 45 years in Manipur. So why should one community, dominant community, have all the political privileges in the Indian constitution while deny the hill areas? Look into this matter and the disparity of power distribution, and look into the disparity in terms of institutional other exclusion in the hill areas, and you would clearly see that how much the hill people are pained in their heart to continually see this kind of denial of their rights for the last 45 years. So this is the pain that has been suffering among many, many scholars, even politicians also. And this concession has to be made unless at this juncture these points are put forward with a force. Then I don't think that in future also these kinds of political concessions within the state will be given. And the minimal concession is that while the view of the dominant community is kept, that is the integrity of the Manipur state, at least there should be political autonomy of the hill areas in their own sphere. Otherwise, the Nagas will go with their own demand of Greater Nagalim, and the Kukis with their own Kuki state. That's the only way.
Damjathang, Michael, do you think that it's about the distribution of assets? Is it about the distribution of resources? This entire thing, the attempt by a section, which is saying there shouldn't be a government running in Manipur. Do you think it's only about this, or just an intransigent position they have taken?
Kartike, yes, development-wise, there is some sort of disparity in the development in the hills and the valley. I absolutely agree with that. But apart from that, their development is very difficult in the hill areas because there is no proper land law in the hill areas. To acquire land, there is no proper land laws that has to be followed. So, and then on the other hand, the problem, yes, we now face the reality. The reality is like, how do they, the leaders, the MLAs, the UPF KNOs and the CSOs, how do they communicate their grievances to the government, to the authority, that is the Indian government. Even, yes, they have demanded the resignation of Biren Singh. Yes, Biren Singh have resigned. Yes, off late. Yes, after two years. Yes, they have demanded president's rule. Yes, president rules cannot be continued for more than 1 year. So now they knew very well that popular government have to come up, that BJP will stake the claim. Knowingly they are doing this. This is their own creation. This is their own mess. So they cannot blame the meitei or the government or to the BJP. They have to blame themselves. And these sort of things, like I say, yes, Nemcha madam have taken her constituent in control. Khaute and Musanglur have taken their constituent in control. There is no nonsense or any violence happening there in their Zomi and then Mar and this KNF Kampopi areas. There is no violence happening there. It's happening only in some stretch like Churichandpur in some section only, like Tuibong and Kangwai area. So now things becomes very open. What exactly is this Kuki-Zo's people wanting? How do they present themselves? Yes, I'm feeling very sorry because of their disunity. But apart from that, Kartike, we need to look at like whatever grievances, genuine grievances do they have, they cannot communicate to the popular government. They have enough time, 1 year, they could have relayed to the central government. So how far they are successful enough, I'm not sure. But one thing is very clear, central government is constantly engaging and willing to resolve this problem politically, and they have extended the SOO agreement with UPF and KNO, the major stakeholders. So in all this, while what we need to understand is, yes, the Manipur Legislative Assembly was very much vehemently against the extension of SOO, but the central government have been doing so, and then they have added a terminology, a phrase called negotiated political settlement within the Constitution of India, so they could have bargained in that way. So
and that happened when the majority of them were opposed to it, but I think the centre pursued it.
Yeah, absolutely. So they should be happy to the central government. So now all these IDPs, attack, arson, murder, killing, you cannot find justice in Article 239A. You have a proper law that UPA or NIA or any agencies have to take care of this thing. And so what we need to understand is that justice cannot be found through Article 239A. You have to find through IPC and DNS, not through any other means. So I think looking into all those perspectives, the Kuki-Zo subscribers or leaders needs to, go along with their people. But now one thing is very clear. So all these things happen because of their internal problem, not because of this. So their problem can never be, problem can never be a Manipur problem now. So now the central government have invested full efforts and it's become it's already a redundant now, separate administration, demand, etc. So I think in all these while, for the long-lasting solution, community understanding, yes, the Thado and Meitei tension has been resolved, yes, because of her background, Madam Nemcha, because her spouse is from insurgent background, a Sioux group leader. She might feel reluctant to travel to Imphal. Yes, we understand. Yes, she did it virtually. Yes, people of Manipur, basically Meitei also, didn't make any much noise. They agreed somehow because they think it like this is the end of the beginning. So this will, in that sense, yes, we have the Thado perspective has taken lots of initiative to diffuse the tension between the Kuki Meitei conflict.
Absolutely, Brijesh, how deeply is Centre invested in this? I wouldn't use the word experiment, but in the government formation, how deep is the investment?
Well, I think the Centre is invested because at the same time when the meeting was taking place to elect the new leader, at the parallelly, there was a meeting with the SU leaders with the other. The SU agreement with the principal secretary and other stakeholders, and it was ratified. So I'm saying that the government is invested, and that is the reason why if you look at from the days of when N. Biren Singh was there and the kind of statements and the tempers which were running high to a completely subdued temperature right now as far as politics is concerned. But yes, I agree that what has been done is a good first step, but a lot needs to be done because there has been a massive erosion of confidence between the two sides, and now the Kuki-Zo community is a major chunk of them are like committed that there should be a political process which grants them a degree of autonomy. The territorial integrity of Manipur is something which I think no government can can give you a guarantee that we are going to tinker with the territorial integrity.
What's the position? What are your sources telling us?
So the government is very clear on that. I think the government will have, the formation of the government is the first step. I think, getting back all those, internally displaced people from the refugee camps to their respective positions, and a sincere effort on the part of the state government would walk a long way, in solving the problem. I'm not saying that they will be able to do it in 1 year or in that limited time frame, because election will come, and then, how election pans out, there are other rhetorics which will come into dominance. But I think, it's after a couple of years, it's a good move by the government.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. This was our first on point, and in this first on point, we discussed the situation in Manipur. And tomorrow, it's a big day because a bandh has been called, and the bandh has been called because certain Kuki-Zo organizations feel that the people who have invested faith in the government is not right. I personally, at the News 9, feel that it's a great step. People should have their government. People who have their own issues, they have the right to press them in front of the lawmakers. But to say that we will not have a government in Manipur or any state is wrong, because that goes against the grain of democratic process. So you can say that you disagree, but you'll have to agree to one fact, that the governance should come from the people elected through the election process that takes place in India. And that is what sets us apart. The boogie, non-functional democracies in South Asia and Southeast Asia. That's what makes India stand apart. So this is all I had on point 1. It's time for a break. But in the second on point, we'll expose how Bangladesh's foreign policy is getting defined by upcoming elections as Jamaat cozies up to or tries cozying up to India.
शिव प्रसाद जी को बीमारी के कारण 15 बार हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट होना पड़ा। पॉलिसी बाजार की टीम ने उनका लाखों का क्लेम अप्रूव करवाने में पूरी हेल्प की। पॉलिसी बाजार पर 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 550 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
Every champion's journey starts with second thoughts.
क्या हुआ?
Till they see it's possible and there is someone who truly believes in them.
एक दिन बहुत बड़ा आदमी बनना है ना?
Orchids, the international school, raising 85,000 champions across India.
घर है वही जहाँ सब संग हो, रिश्तों को रंग दो, दुनिया को रंग दो।
Birla Opus Paints.
रश्मि, ये मैडम बड़े शहर से छोटे शहर बसने जा रही है, बता। छोटे छोटे शहरों में ही तो है बड़े बड़े अखाड़े। नए नए दावपेच सीखेगी और फ्यूचर में मेडल जीतेगी। और बेटा, इनका फ्यूचर?
बड़े पापा, SBI लाइफ से इनका फ्यूचर सिक्योर है।
अभी तो इसकी जीत का इरादा पक्का है। करो पूरे अपने इरादे, अपनों से किए सभी वादे। SBI लाइफ अपने लिए, अपनों के लिए।
With just days to go before Bangladesh heads to polls, Jamaat-e-Islami has pledged what I call constructive, or what it calls constructive and cooperative relations with neighbouring countries, including India. In its election manifesto released this week, Jamaat said it would pursue peaceful, friendly ties with India and other regional neighbours, stressing relations based on mutual respect and fairness. The party also promised to work towards enhancing Bangladesh's global standing and improving international credibility and mobility of the Bangladeshi passport. The timing is significant. Bangladesh is set to hold national elections and a constitutional referendum on Feb 12th in what is being described as one of the most consequential votes in the country's recent history. With the ruling Awami League barred from contesting, Jamaat and the Bangladesh Nationalist Party now in a seat-sharing arrangement have emerged as the key contenders, dramatically reshaping the electoral landscape. It was against this backdrop that India responded. The Ministry of External Affairs said today that there is no new statement on Jamaat-e-Islami, adding that New Delhi has already articulated its position in the past and continues to stand by it. The response makes clear that India is not recalibrating its stance based on election time assurance or manifesto commitments. The MEA's reference is to India's long-held position on Jamaat-e-Islami, which New Delhi has viewed through the prism of security, ideological extremism and the party's historical role in Bangladesh's politics, that is, opposition to 1971 liberation war and its abysmal record on minority rights. India has consistently maintained that its engagement with Bangladesh is guided by actions and institutional continuity and not campaign rhetoric. Beyond India, Jamaat's manifesto outlines broader foreign policy ambitions. It emphasizes strengthening ties with the Muslim world as a key priority, expanding diplomatic and economic engagement with Eastern Europe, Africa and South America, and stepping up participation in UN and other international organizations on issues ranging from peace and security to human rights and development. The party has also pledged continued participation in UN peacekeeping missions and cooperation with the international community to address the Rohingya issue. However, international observers remain cautious. The International Crisis Group has flagged uncertainty over credibility of the election process and warned